Nigerians resist warnings to stop drinking Garri. As funny as this may sound, it is actually a very, very serious issue. Anyways, Nigerians have been warned over the consumption of soaked Garri in order to avoid contacting Lassa fever. The warning was given by Dr. Boniface Okolo, who is the Director of Public Health in Enugu State. Many Nigerians who reacted to the doctor's assertion on social media professed that under no circumstances would they abandon Garri. Some even claimed the food has saved many Nigerians than all the doctors combined. Now, in reactions on social media, I'll just read a couple of them. Wahab Rahman Oladimeji said, "I can't stop laughing. If Garri gives Lassa fever, I should have died so many years back. I can remember when I was in primary school, I drank the hell out of Garri. I used Garri a lot with kulikuli and granite." Another person, Don Kenny Alozie, said, "Mr. Doctor, sir, this Garri has saved more lives in Nigeria than all the doctors who claim to be saving lives in this country. Just allow us enjoy the only hope we have left in this Nigeria." Samuel Tom said, "Dr. Boniface, I am so angry about your research on Garri. You yourself, you soaked Garri during your primary, secondary, university, and even in your medical school. Today you come out to say we should not soak Garri. I want to let you know that Garri is the hope of the common man and not the judiciary." Maxwell Ikechukwu says, "Garri that my great-grandma drank almost every day without even milk. And she died at the very old age of 128 years. Please go and conduct research on other things and leave our Garri alone." Now, lastly, Wisdom Honesty says, "Oga expert, if you like, preach from now till next year. Nobody will agree with you on this issue, especially when hunger is in the country. This Garri saved my life when I was in school." And it goes on and on and on and on, you know, people's comments and all of that. All right, now, Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State has recently cried out as Lassa fever has claimed yet another 15 lives in Ondo State. The governor says the outbreak has reportedly claimed this amount of lives I just mentioned and also left 28 people in critical conditions. The Federal Medical Center in Owo community of Ondo State has over 100 people being treated for Lassa fever. Some patients are even being referred to the virology center in Akure because the Federal Medical Center is already filled up. Now, that's why I said, as hilarious as this topic might seem, it is a very serious thing. We all know that Lassa fever has been with us for as long as, you know, as I can remember. I grew up hearing Lassa fever. And it's amazing that for such, you know, for such a health concern that has been with us for so many years, is still killing people up till today. That is on one hand. On the other hand, Nigerians don't just drink Garri out of poverty. It's a kind of traditional pleasure, you know, like sometimes I feel like Garri is the only thing I feel like drinking, you know. So taking that away from an average Nigerian is also a very serious issue. So, but let's juxtapose the two situations, you know, together.
One thing is that Garri means different things to different people.
Exactly.
And one thing that you should know about Garri is this. It's one of the unified food that you can find everywhere. When I was in the north, and I discovered that there is Garri in the north too, I was so surprising. But one thing that you should know is this. In Nigeria, maybe what the doctor was trying to say is that the make at which people make Garri now is not the tradition. For instance, now where you see some people using some shampoo, they use Kamba, some using they use syrup paracetamol. And that was it. And you know that one is killing on his own side. But telling people to
back it up a bit. They put paracetamol inside Garri.
Yes, shampoo. what they do is that
what?
you know what you are using to fry it. For it to stimulate very well, for it to be whitish, they even put it in fufu too, to make fufu now.
Really?
Yes, even syrup, paracetamol syrup, they use that instead of using palm oil. You know, what they use is palm oil, so that it can be able to steam. It's not going to be gumming to that, so that they can be free and flow. But now they put all those things. You see why Nigerians are devilish. Some Nigerians are devilish in killing other Nigerians. That one is one. Then two, plastic of Garri now. Because I did this survey yesterday. It's 500 naira, the white one. The one of rice, the rika of rice, it depends on whether you are buying local or foreign. It's range from 300, 350, 400. Then the one of the plastic is 1,200. But one thing you should know about Garri is this. Ordinarily, having Garri, the most important thing you have to just do is to have water. Without touching anything, you are already eating. Talk less of turning it into eba and make some stew, soup along with it. So you should know that it's different. Then it's for pleasure too. For those people that are wealthy, you will know. So telling people, it's just like I'm telling people that when you wake up, you should not greet your parents, because Garri is so part of our life that we cannot,
of the culture.
We cannot even do away with it. Then the one of the one in Ondo, what people should note, if we still continue that our environment is not still unkept, we are going to still continue to be having this particular problem. And that is why Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Health in every state is so much important to every state. If you don't, the way you have to tell people, because one thing that you should know is this: what kills us most in Nigeria is man-made. It's man-made. It's what we can even avoid. But the problem there is that we'll open our eyes. The Owo we are talking about, if you get to some part in the world, it's not even about Owo. Let's go from Lagos here. Before, in the history of poetry, they used to say, Ere tete lekwa agege. As if it's only agege that we have rats. We have rats virtually everywhere, and rats could only be enjoying themselves when you have deaths all around. So if we don't clean our environment automatically, then we are going to have a problem with that.
Lassa fever. All right, let me hear Chuk's take on this.
You know, as I was watching Baba here drinking his Garri, you know, there are some things you tell Nigerians, the Nigerians will laugh away. What is this one talking about? You know, it's like when they say we should not eat pomo. You know, all those kind of things. It doesn't fly for Nigerians. Nigerians have developed this thick skin. You know when you are just telling us lies. We know when you are just saying things that don't conform with what we believe. And we'll just say, okay, have you finished? Are you not seeing pomo in the market?
Of course.
Are people not still buying it? This Garri now, people will still sow Garri. Why? Because Nigerians think that this is not the issue with the country.
Yes.
Nigerians believe there are serious problems that we should deal with, than telling us whether to sow Garri or to eat pomo. Meanwhile, the health implication of it is also the area that, okay, they are talking about the way they process, which is what is alluding to. In those days in the village, I know my grandmother, if they grind cassava to make Garri, you leave it overnight.
Yes.
You don't fry it the same day.
Yes.
Yes. And they even soak it to allow
the reason for that,
fermentation to happen,
yes.
and then it takes away a lot of chemicals and all that. Today, people harvest cassava today, grind it today,
fry it today.
Even cassava that was planted with a lot of things,
fertilizer and all kinds of things. So you see, that's the area. If that's what the researcher is talking about, I will agree with him that we need to be careful how we process some of these things. But if it's about we should not sow Garri, you know, when I saw that, I was like, okay, to God be the glory. They used to tell us that I don't sow Garri, and if you want to sow Garri, use milk for your eyes. That's the only thing they've ever told us.
Yes.
You know, my problem with medical doctors is that they tend to always tell you where the problem is coming. They will never tell you the solution. Let us find how to cure Lassa fever and all those. You should do a research and see how we can cure some of these things.
Okay.
Before we used to, they tell us every child should eat egg in one day. And other people came back and said, no, you should not be eating egg. So I don't even, Nigerians have moved on. We are even self-medicating. We're taking care of ourselves. We are our own. We build our own house for ourselves. We drive our own water. We are everything. Health facilities. We are the one doing it ourselves. We don't come and tell Nigeria. We are running our life now. Because really, in a country like Nigeria, with all the issues we are having, discussing soaking Garri or no soaking Garri for me is pedestrian. Like we have not started.
I get that, but then there's a correlation between soaking Garri and the Lassa fever we're talking about. You know, because people who sell this, let's even move away from how this Garri is being processed. People who sell this Garri don't store the Garri properly. Maybe they expose them, you know, and then imagine a rat who has been in the bush and done all sorts, dancing on top of the Garri you're going to buy the next day, maybe even peeing or pooing on it, you know.
That's the point I'm making. There's something they say where I come from. I made Jimbabu along. If I'm going to interpret it in English, it means you don't say because they kill people during war, we will not fight war. You always fight war. If there are issues with the way people sell Garri, let the health people make sure that anybody who says, I remember Fashola government once in Lagos said,
yes,
no, the way you prepare meat, I don't agree with you.
And of course, we saw how everything changed.
So you don't come and say,
that's the point. All right, Daddy, let me hear you.
Incidentally, why is it only in Ondo State that we now have an epidemic? There is nowhere in Nigeria where we don't soak Garri.
Including my village.
So, in fact, we, people of my own generation, we eat about in the morning, soak Garri in the afternoon, they eat about in the evening.
So everything is Garri.
So it's a Garri food day.
And funny enough, I was reading on the internet because I read a lot about this FPUs. I read that Garri is good for the body. They gave reasons why you should be eating Garri. So I actually ate a lot of Garri, but with Ewa. So that maybe that
balance it.
But I'm saying that, like Mr. Ademiro pointed out, a lot of adulteration is taking place in the preparation of these things. So what we used to have sanitary inspectors in those days.
Where are they?
Maybe we should reintroduce them.
Where are they?
Where they are preparing these things prevents this abuses and adulteration right at the point of preparation.
Yes.
And then the issue of Lassa fever and Garri, I don't know why it's only happening in Ondo State, because everybody smoke Garri.
Yeah, like you rightly said, I think the government should approach it from the
preventive aspect.
Exactly. I remember there was a time in Lagos where I don't know, but regularly the markets are fumigated, you know, to prevent rodents and stuff like that. Why can't we go back to that?
The point I wanted to make is that if the government is looking for how, especially in the city like Lagos, where the rats are coming from, I can tell them, once you don't clean our drainages, that's how rats will go and live there forever, because they know nobody is touching it, so they find a way to live. Secondly, they have turned almost all our roads to dumping ground for abandoned vehicles. Once you abandon vehicles, that's where rats will be there. Every street in Sulere, in where I live, you'll find these abandoned vehicles. They don't go out, they're obstructing traffic, and government will look elsewhere. And they will say it's because you are going and drinking Garri. When you put those vehicles there, if you know the number of rats that live in some of those abandoned vehicles across Lagos,
true.
Take them out and then you are taking maybe 50% of
true. All right, let's quickly read some feedbacks. Nuruddin from Ikeja says, just send one of your journalists to the street and ask about Garri. You will hear a lot. The medical expert just advised how we should handle it. Madam Patience, you're welcome back from vacation. Thank you, Nuruddin. All right, this other one says the doctor should have done research on the cure for Lassa fever. Garri is not just the hope for the ordinary man, but a remedy for crime. Really? David Sepribo from Okiaro. Good day, everyone. Thank you, David. All right, this other one say, I salute you all. Let the doctor try to discover the cure of Lassa fever, not drinking Garri. Garri is even older than Nigeria. Garri Bako, wow. Nigerians are not playing with this Garri issue. All right, my name is Echioda Christopher. For me, Garri is one of the food in Nigeria. When I'm in primary school, I keep taking Garri up till now. And I'm still alive. Praise God for you. As real as the air we breathe is, yet invisible, so is the invisible God. He's always close to humans who drink Garri. For he that keeps Israel does not sleep nor slumber.
Oh my God.
You see from Jaws. Wow. Quoting Bible passages for Garri. Okay. That's serious. All right. Ikenna Achu from Jaws also says, my people run for their life. They used to dry cassava along highways near bush, and rats do use it as food. All right. I guess what he's trying to say is, even at that, people still didn't die from eating it. All right, this other one from Daniel from Okiaro says, that doctor is not serious at all. He just wants to make name. Thank you, Daniel. All right, this other one says, I am Omowami Solomon. I cannot stop drinking Garri. All right. Okay, but you were going to say something quickly.
One thing that at the same time, it's not only peculiar to Garri, all our foods, the way we store our foods,
exactly,
even in the market, and this is the reason why all these local governments, if you really want to make money, apart from radio and TV you collect all around, even those who that did not have TV at home, go to all these markets, sensitize them that we are coming after 3 months or 6 months to come and see how you store it. So those ones that you can just give them tickets if they fail, because one thing there is this, to kill people, the best way to kill people is through food. So storage of food, government, local government should take it upon themselves. State cannot be everywhere, but local government, you take it, all those health officers, environmental officers should go to the market so that they can sensitize people, and ordinary, and again, they should really punish them if they hurt after several sanitization they will have done for them.
Exactly. I think the government should be a bit more proactive in its approach, because Lassa fever is with us. Yes, it's with us just the same way malaria has been with us for years. Having said that, it is very deadly, which means we cannot handle it with kids' glove. But the government needs to be a bit more proactive. Let's do something about this Garri issue, because even at the point of sale, we all know Garri is always exposed, you know, not only to rats, to all sorts of things, cockroaches, flies, and everything. Let's do something about making it a bit more hygienic, you know, for people's consumption. And of course, when the sun is very hot, Garri to the rescue. I'm one of those Nigerians. We can't stop. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.